Cojo Bay did not disappoint. Although it was a little rolly, we had a good night rest, and we woke up to this. Kind of made me feel like I should have had a surfboard, and a little bit more time to enjoy the waves. Let's see, Cojo Bay, San Luis Obispo. Goodbye, Cojo. You've been rolly, but beautiful. A little brekkie action. Maybe I should take off my anchor glove. Yeah, we got a little pressure here. Once we get around this point, we'll raise some sails. Properly in the Pacific. That's a proper sailing stance too. Wide legs like you've been riding a horse or a bull. I don't think there's enough wind to shut the engine off though. But let's see. We're gonna hang on to this guy, this tack, which is not favorable. It's not getting us north at all for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and see where that gets us. And then start heading north. This is also into the swell, which is not great either, but hey, can't control the wind or the waves or much of anything actually, now that I think about it. We ended up finding that pressure and some steeper waves to contend with. This boat does such a good job of rolling over a little bit everything. There was a massive fog bank just right offshore, so depending on our tack, we'd either be in the clouds or in the sun. We are in the cloud. A lot of fog. I doubt the solar panel's doing much today. We're trying to make some headway west. Fun fact, if we kept on this course, we'd almost hit Hawaii. Almost perfectly. This is a kind of full body sailing. You're bracing yourself, you're steering, you're moving with the waves, but it is tiring, so it's always good to have crew. Jamie is looking like he's having a lot of fun at the helm, and this is pretty active sailing, so it's a good time. On the opposite tack and back in the sun, and a lot more wind. When we tacked over, the sheet got sucked out of the winch and block, so this is me grabbing that sheet and rerunning it. We were doing our best to get onto a tack that would take us all the way north to San Luis Obispo, but this was harder in practice.
Yeah, we're climbing up. We're almost headed west. Well, the weather has decided to stop weathering and Now we have just a pump, a slight breeze wind. However, the waves are still wavy and doing their wave business. So we're moving at sometimes half the speed we were. It's more comfortable in that we're not heeled over so much, but it's less comfortable because we feel every single little wave a little bit more. But I think this is just a little bit of a lull in the system. You know, we're obviously back in the fog, as you can see, so that probably has something to do with this shift. But I think we're hopefully going to get back some of the wind that we lost when we entered this.
With all this fog, I was a little worried about running into other boats, but this container ship in the distance was the only one we saw.
Alright, headed north. Well, finally, had to make a big old tack out, but we're banking that we can just sail all the way to San Luis Obispo. Thank you, Hana, for this weird snack. I don't know what I'm eating, but it's pretty good.
All bundled up and watching these birds head south sure made a compelling argument to turn around and head to Mexico. Alas.
I feel like we're getting lifted a little bit. Yeah. It's just a very big relief. Just a little more offshore. Oh, nice.
That little lift allowed us not to have to tack out again and continue north.
What do they call this beach? Pelican Beach. Coffees. Cheers. Cheers. Good. Alright, I missed.
The long day was starting to turn into a long night.
Yeah, I'm way off, sorry.
And while there was a little wind to help push us along, it was generally a slog. But we eventually made it. Can you see my breath?
Does it feel cold to you?
I mean, it does to me, but then I'm a pussy, so. You know, I didn't mind cold when I was younger. The older I've gotten, the less I like it.
I think it's the sweater. I think that's what's doing me good.
Oh,
Do you want to borrow?
No, I can't. If I put a sweater on underneath this sweater or over this sweater, I'm not even going to get my jacket on.
You're going to look like Muscle Man Randy Jackson.
Or the Michelin Man.
Well, he's definitely not cold. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God, what a day.
What have we done to ourselves? Oof. You know, this is supposed to be like a primer to like this next leg too.
Oh gosh. Wish you hadn't said that. Now I'm going to have nightmares.